Anyway, but yeah, fuck it. Fuck Twitter. Fuck all that shit. Fuck the ops. Okay. It's Friday and we're keeping the vibes immaculate. And I'm going to start by watching this. There you go. Oh. Let me tell you something, okay? This is Sean Strickland. So I don't really know too much about Sean Strickland beyond the fact that I know he is a UFC fighter. Okay. And controversial opinion, two things I'm going to say here. This is not cool at all. I think it's crazy that he like beat the shit out of a random fucking skinny dude like Sneeko. Like, I'm not, this is a mid-off, okay, for sure. It's a mid-off for sure. But it's like, what are you doing? Sean Strickland was just a middleweight champion to beat the fuck out of Israel Adesanya. Dude's a menace. I just don't understand it, though. He's like, are you all right? Are you okay? What's wrong with you? Why are you beating the fuck out of a civilian, dog? Like, it's so dumb. It doesn't matter that Sneeko deserves to get his ass beat. I think it's like, there's an air of confidence, in my opinion, that is supposed to come from like being a guy who can kill someone with their hands, right? Like, you know better. You can kill people with your fucking hands with ease, much easier than the average person can. So if you have that kind of power, you should also have a little bit of responsibility. Like, I don't really understand why calling non-fighters athletes civilians is very funny. Hey, yeah, that's what I mean. This is what they call a tune-up match. He recently lost his belt and he has to get his confidence by beating up some dork. As a member of the MMA community, Sean is absolutely bananas. I mean, there's a lot of fucking bananas MMA guys out there, so I feel like he's even worse. But I've even had my what? I've even had my in real life friends turn into dumb fucks because of Sneeko, so I don't care. Bro, he's literally opening up. First of all, he's connecting with his fucking head. It's wild that he can't even knock him out. Okay? It doesn't matter that Sneeko consented, bro. Be fucking normal. What the hell is this shit? Couple things. One, it's kind of crazy that he's just wailing on him. Like, at first, it's like, even if you're like, at first, even if you're like lightly sparring, this is already too aggressive, okay? This is already too aggressive. He's like fucking... He's playing with him? Come on, dude. That's not playing with him. He stops playing here, okay? This is where he stops playing with him. If you think that the previous part is like him playing with him... You think that's playing, dude? You think those last couple of hits are playing? Are you crazy? You care, lol? I mean, I do a little bit. I think it's like odd. It's already odd that he's like literally taking shots directly to Sneeko's head. And for people that go, oh, dude, Sneeko, you should have worn a fucking headgear or head protection. It doesn't matter. You can still get CTE. If you got a fucking killer in the octagon and he fucking slams the shit out of you, even with that headgear on, your brain is still gonna shake. I think the only reason why Sneeko didn't get fucking knocked out here is because he has no brain to shake in his brain. He can't get concussed because there's no brain that shakes inside of the fucking skull. But still, I don't know. I think it's like, am I a bitch? Is that what it is? Do I feel like, I always have this opinion that if you have more power than the other person, like, it's on you to be a responsible individual, right? Like, if you are a fucking title haver, okay, a UFC fighter with a fucking belt, that's insane that you're just like opening up on like a dude that is like as skinny as Drake's penis, okay? I mean, look at him. He's flailing in the same way as Drake's penis was in the 767, dude. He's like, He's in the PJ going left and right, flailing like wacky inflatable arm man. I don't know. I mean, not to get all Judd Apatow here and be like, oh my God, there was so much anger behind those R's. He could have killed him, but like he literally could. You know what I mean? This is not like the Will Smith slapping Chris Rock situation. Like I think I'm more understanding about like violent ends that occur in the real world and like weak moments that we have than the average person, right? This is not the average person at all. I mean, the fact that he's still standing is pretty impressive too. Not many people, in my opinion, can say that they could just fucking eat it for like 30 seconds straight from a middleweight champion with a belt and just like not fucking die. Now, I don't know what the damage is. I don't know what the damage is overall, but I do think that this is a ridiculous thing to do. Okay? This is already a no-no, even if you're sparring on the same experience level. And this guy has, I'll tell you this much. Okay? If Sean was sparring at his gym with an evenly matched sparring partner and he behaved like this, they would probably pull him off as well. Like, he is opening up way too much. And I'm not like a massive fucking fight guy at all, but I do feel like this is kind of crazy. How is it different than the Nazi kid who got his shit pushed in? That kid got his shit pushed in with BJJ, brother, which, you know, you can still run into issues, but that was an infinitely better way to handle it. They grappled. No, it was definitely not BJJ. Wasn't it? Didn't they grapple? Am I wrong? Yeah, they were grappling and shit. That's like a way more manageable way. It's like Sneagle went into the ring knowing he could get hurt. He's not a child. Yeah, guys, I understand that part. Okay. I can't believe I'm saying this. All I'm simply stating is he 100% should have like lowered the intensity. Okay. You're crazy in my opinion. Do you understand what I mean here? Like, I think it's different when you're striking. Okay. I feel like it's very different when you're striking. Why? What do you mean? Because you can like, if you grapple someone, you can do it in a way where you can like restrict their movement, make them uncomfortable. They can tap out. This is like in grapple terms, this would literally be like if you put someone in a fucking armbar until they like choked out, until they literally no longer had oxygen go into their fucking brain. Okay. And they were trying to tap out and you just didn't care. Was this supposed to be a friendly match? Or you don't choke someone in an armbar. Sorry. Whatever it's fucking called. Not an armbar. Whatever. A rear naked chokehold or whatever the fuck is called. Regardless, you know I'm not like a big fight guy. I'm just saying armbar is an arm lock. Yeah, breaking their arm. Anyway, it is obvious though that one, many people fucking somehow forget with great power comes great responsibility. Okay. And secondly, did you know MMA is safer than boxing CTE wise, by the way? Just curious. Seems like a lot of people don't know. Yeah, probably, because boxing is you're just eating it to the face and to the body with very severe punches. Not everyone's a striker in MMA. You still need the strike, but I feel like that would probably be the reason, right? That's why I'm literally saying that what he's doing here is crazy. It's like fucked up. Jesus.
Fall down. That's good graphics and heavy shots, man.
Damn. I mean, it is kind of respectable that he did not fall. That I will say that. Dude, what is happening? All the fucking kick streamers are like taking W's in their L's right now. Like they're taking L's, but in a way that kind of makes it turn into a W. Bro took more shots to the back than his girl. Yeah, I do also think boxing is worse because of standing 8 counts and restarting after someone's been knocked down instead of letting the fight finish. Yeah, I do think that it's like odd that I found myself in a position where I'm like kind of defending Sneeko, I guess, but if he's a fighter for a living, it just shows that he's unprofessional. He should have held back 100%. Not a great look for him. He's not just a fighter for a living. As MMA heads in the chat correctly explained, isn't he? I mean, he's a title holder. Like, it's crazy. And apparently a former Nazi, too. Sean Strickland is a middleweight division UFC title holder. He's a former UFC middleweight champion. And he's a professional competitor since 2008. I can't tell if people are making a joke about me saying former title holder or I mean a former UFC middleweight champion, or because he said he's a former Nazi. Yeah, he's the wait, no, he lost the title recently. Bro was busy blowing bubbles on Trump's dick. Yeah, he saw an op to whoop the ass of someone that deserves it and took it. I don't know. I think there are way better ways of like, didn't this all start because he was calling some other MMA guy the R word who is autistic? Look, all I'm saying is if you have, fight, like learning how to fight is actually really good for developing confidence is what a lot of people say. The other part of that problem is that when you get hit in the head too many fucking times, you still become an animal, okay? So then you lose out on all the supposed confidence that you're supposed to get from like physical training and like being confident in your own body and your own skin. So that's why you see a lot of these motherfuckers like go in either direction. Either they're like kind, loving individuals, or they just or become murderous monsters with the absolute worst politics you've ever seen. And it's like it feels as though like if you are a fucking title holder, okay, if you're a former middleweight champion, you should definitely be infinitely more confident in your abilities, and you can still like smack someone down a little bit, but not in a way that you're like looking like you're trying to kill him, okay? Like if you've been fighting professionally since 2008, you know the difference between like, you know, lightly sparring, you know, maybe medium sparring, and also heavy sparring. Sean said he hates influencers, that's why. Still, dude, it's crazy. Yes, great example. Like the sumo wrestlers in Japan. Like look at how that fucking former sumo wrestler, like almost champion guy. Look at the way he was fighting me in Japan. Like they were dope, and they definitely could have probably fucking picked me up and like flipped me around like a goddamn pizza, okay? And he didn't do that. They didn't do that at all because it was like because they're professional and confident in their abilities and not being like weird and lame. This is how it was started.
Anybody, your wife, right?
Absolutely not, Sean.
It's so odd because like aren't they all on board with the same politics too? Like that's what I also don't understand. Like aren't they in line? Like don't they believe the same shit? I'm a good baseball player. I'm not going to throw my hardest to a noob novice. Yeah, like imagine throwing fucking heaters at a child who's only played softball up to this moment. You know what I mean? Just fucking a 95-mile slammer that you're just laying into. Sneeko was a child? No, dummy, but his expertise in the field of combat would be akin, especially in comparison to a fucking former middleweight champion. It would be like if a professional baseball player was throwing absolute fucking heaters at a child, okay? Paris from Mage. I'm a retired. I'm fight me IRL. Oiled up. I'm a retired NFL linebacker. I could punk you, bud. There are actually retired NFL players. What's his name? That are Hasanabi heads. So I don't know if this dude is memeing or not. There is actually what do you call it? What's his face? Come on, the guy who is he's a Heisman winner too, I think, right? Or he's an NFL Super Bowl winner, not a Heisman winner. Who's a Hasanabi? Yeah, not a Heisman winner. Thomas Crabtree, big time Hasanabi head. No, not Arian Foster, but Arian Foster also is like sometimes, you know, yeah. Aaron Hernandez. No way, Crabtree's a Hasanabi head. Yeah, he's like, I forget what his name is in the chat. Yeah. Famous Aaron Rodgers, Hasanabi head. Aaron Rodgers is a Joe Rogan head. We know that already. A skilled fighter doesn't need to hurt someone to embarrass them. He honestly could have just ruined Sneako's day and still made whatever his point was with leg kicks and body shots and not done permanent damage. This conversation is insane. Thank you. Please. Jesus Christ. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills because there's like hella people. Oh yeah, here you. Bro, look at this. I'm gambling channel points on this shit on a Friday night. Watching fucking Never Kevers, former Green Bay Packers Super Bowl champion. This convo is insane because we're talking about insane people. I know, but like doing decent analysis, in my opinion, in a situation like this requires you to like drop the insanity for a brief moment and have like and develop a better understanding for every side, regardless of whether or not it's like two fucking weird, bigoted losers laying into one another or getting laid in on. Because we're talking about this not from the perspective of like whose politics is worse, because I don't know whose politics is worse, really. They're both pretty fucking awful. It's just that like one is infinitely more skilled in the field of actual professional fighting and the other isn't. All jokes aside though, okay, you know, I think Sneeko does have a humiliation fetish. I do. It's not even a joke at this point. Like he likes it. He likes it. He has to like it.
Absolutely not, Sean. We don't do that over
I
here.
respect that, bro.
Okay.
When we gonna fucking spar, bro? I heard we're gonna set that shit up and get it out.
I'm ready to go. I'm ready. I think that'd be fun.
Wait, it wasn't even like a aggro situation? That's fucking nuts. He literally, that was supposed to be a friendly spar. That's the energy he brought to a friendly spar? Dude, that shit sucks, dude. Get the fuck out of here. Bro, he's such a dick. That's so lame. Straight up, that's lame as fuck.
How long are you in town for?
I'll be in town for a couple more days. But boxing though, MMA is a little. I don't know if that's gonna be.
You're at a boxing fight?
No, I haven't.
We are wrestling tomorrow at 11.
Wrestling?
No, I'll box, but we'll wrestle. I'll give you a couple rounds.
Okay, I'm supposed to train with Jake Shields tomorrow, so if you want to come at the same time.
Jake Shields?
gonna
Oh
go to
my God. Every part of this is awful. Skinhead hits black guy for free. Yeah, except like the black guy is a literal fucking Nazi right now. Like openly. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't know who in this situation is worse. I don't fucking know. Do you understand? Like it's literally Nazi on Nazi violence, okay? Sneeko is Blasian.
The UFC arena.
At 11?
I think right after prayer, so like maybe 2 o'clock. But I can go early.
Yeah, let's not bring race into this mid-off. There's no race is not playing a role here, okay? I don't think this is a instance of it's like they got friendly fire on, okay? Friendly fire was not off in this Nazi parade.
I don't know about that shit, dude, but I got you, bro. We'll be at 11.
All right, I'll see you there.
Bring Shields, bro. I invite him to come wrestle with us, too.
Okay.
Anybody?
This is Azov. Yeah, this is Azov versus Wagner type beat is true. Exactly. It's just they're just going at it, and you're in the sidelines looking at it, going, "What the fuck's happening here?" Sean Strickland has said in an interview, "It would be amazing to kill an opponent in the octagon." You are right. Sean probably hates Sneeko more because he's a streamer versus his race. Yeah. I don't know. It's also like weird and kind of, I don't know. Maybe, like I said, maybe I'm being a pussy, but it's like, I feel like it's total weak bitch shit to just like do this to a person that you very clearly, everyone knows can do this to everyone knows you can do that to a person. You don't have to prove anything, you know? That's why it's like really funny when losers online are like, fight this person, fight that person. It's like, bitch, I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover. Okay. Even though the person that they're putting up, it doesn't matter. Like some of those people I could beat up. I don't think Andrew Tate is one of those people. I think Andrew Tate could probably beat me up. I mean, he is a literal fucking kickboxer. He has fought professionally, right? And I've brought that up. I've like openly mentioned that many times, and people go, "Oh, he admitted it, dude." It's like, yeah, because I'm a reasonable human. It's so dumb. You would crack motherfuckers? Are you kidding me? I mean, look, I've been in a lot of fights in my youth. Okay, I don't like it. I'm not a fan of fights, and I didn't win all the time either. You know, I've won plenty of fights, and I've lost a decent amount of fights as well. It's not my favorite thing. But this is not like a real. I'm not talking about like a real fight. I'm talking brawls. I've never trained. I've never fight trained, and I've never actually, I've never actually been in like a professional fighting setting or even amateur fighting at all. Punching someone in the head doesn't actually feel good. It just feels better than being punched. Yeah, I would agree with that. You got your ass kicked. I've gotten fucking pummeled on for sure. Dude, I got fucking sucker punched and knocked out before. Yeah. I've also beat a lot of ass too, but I mean, this is not like, I don't think this comes from a place of, I don't think people understand. This doesn't come from a place of being like I don't have any fear of admitting that. It's dumb as fuck. It is the stupidest shit I've ever done. What is this high school ass argument? Yeah, I'm a 32-year-old man. Like, you're acting like the guy that got upset at Larry David. Me? Wait, you think me saying Sean Strickland is like being insecure and opening up that hard on a fucking random streamer is actually the same? Is it? Oh, you're joking. Okay, I thought you were gonna be like, dude, you're being like, you're over here talking like you're fucking like I'm Judd Apatow.
The only thing I'm jealous about Hassan is the fact that he has a 6'3" frame, and he is, I'm actually,
What is this?
I want to put muscle on that guy so fucking bad, man. Dude, if he goes insanely hard, he could just be so fucking jacked. He's already pretty fucking jacked, but I want to see him. I want to go see him full trend.
No, please don't take my job. It would be almost as bad as having to watch the top of the hour break.
I want to see him go.
What the fuck? Dude, yeah. Trend hard, and never give up, and eat clean. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
I want to see him go like Canute mode. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. He has such an insane frame.
I do love, I mean, look, I love and admire people who are able to do that to themselves. I will always respect that. I can't do that, okay? I cannot do that. I will not do that. Vio has the same bot with your voice. Yeah. Trend hard, eat clean, and never give up. And never give up. Have you reacted to the same Sulik yet? The GOAT? Yes. Gotta eat cake and pizza can't cut too good. What's your thoughts on Niji Sanji being a black company? What? What does this... Are any of these words in the Bible? I have no clue what you just said. I also don't really understand. Like, does that mean they are owned by black people? Like, what the fuck? He's talking VTuber drama. Black company is a specific term. Okay, I don't know anything about VTuber drama. Please don't bring me into this. I don't know. I can't deal with... Listen. Guys, I can't deal with another fucking group of stans that come after me and like want to kill me, okay? Well, I guess VTuber fans are the only group of people that won't like actually genuinely come after and kill me, but who knows? Anyway. Buraku Kigyo. Buraku Gaisha, also referred to in English as a black corporation or black business, is a Japanese term for an exploitative sweatshop type employment system. Oh, okay. All right. Well, Sorry if that happened to you, or congratulations type beat. Yeah, exactly. It's like that sounds not good. Okay. That sounds not good, guys. That's my take. Please don't get mad at me. Or it is good, depending on who's asking. Okay. That's all I said. VTuber fandom is very adjacent to the right, always, sadly. It's so weird because, like, there are a lot of VTuber fans who are right wing, but there are a lot of more VTubers themselves who are not right wing at all. You have, like, I think there's a lot of Hasanabi heads in the VTuber community as, like, the actual VTubers themselves. There are a lot of leftist VTubers, but in the fandom, I think, like, there's probably a decent amount of right wing. You know, that guy you show was awesome. I mean, yeah, Lord Athelstan. Yeah. Speaking of fandoms, would Luffy be pro-Palestine? Luffy would probably give the Palestinians a piece of land with full autonomy, but he wouldn't pick a side because it's too messy. Yeah, these people are fucking delusional. Okay. That's crazy. R/One Piece out of control with this. Luffy is unconditionally free Palestine till it's backwards. 1000%. Dude, so many One Piece stands fucking get absolutely nutty mode. They get so mad that I've, like, ruined. In their eyes, I've ruined their favorite anime by talking about how political it is. And I've brought forward. They think that you guys weren't already fucking fans of One Piece. Okay? Like, they think that you guys became fans of One Piece and, like, shit it up personally. That it wasn't because, like, you're fans of mine and also fans of One Piece because One Piece is a very political anime. They think that, like, I got you guys all into One Piece and now we've, like, fucked up the fandom by making their gum anime political. And it is very dumb because, no, there's a lot of fucking One Piece fans who are also fans of mine. That's how I got into One Piece to begin with. And not only that, but also it is a fucking political anime, whether you appreciate it as such or not. Okay? Yeah. If you're going to cover the current VTuber drama, you should be warned it does involve attempted self-unalive. No, I'm not going to cover the VTuber drama. I have no idea what's going on there. What? Can you watch some of this guy today? Lee County, Florida sheriff who thinks he's God.
Thugs off the streets. Welcome to Operation Zero Chill.
Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. All right, stop. Collaborate and listen. Ice is back.
Damn, dude, look at all these guys holding up the fentanyl without dying. That's crazy.
Brand new invention. Something grabs a hold of me tightly. Flow like a harpoon daily and nightly. Will it ever stop? Yo, I don't know. Turn off the lights.
I think there is. Oh, God, this guy. Fuck, man. Oh, God, here we go. Here's another one, dude. Here's another one. This is literally the most. I mean, look, he is almost identical to the legend who did this before him, okay? That's right. I'm talking about Louisiana's very own. I'm talking about Louisiana's very own representative, now representative. What's his fucking name? Clay Higgins. That's right. Not Steven Seagal, not Where Mama At. I'm talking Clay Higgins. Hell yeah. The drug house now closed down by Clay. You just got clayed on. You better pray to God. When the woke sky comes crashing down on you, you better be praying to God. If you don't have a God, you better be praying to Allah. Because Clay Higgins is coming for you. Yeah, you better pray to God. You better clay to God. Nice, man. Sick. Fuck this
You want to
guy.
be a law enforcement officer? I need 20 hard charges.
You want to be a law enforcement officer? You got to look like a thumb. What is this hair, bro? Get a fucking haircut. Let it go, dog. You ain't fooling nobody with this shit. Let it fucking go, homie. What is happening here? I love that these guys also always have to be like, I'm a cop, by the way. Bitch, we know. Look at the way you look, homie. You don't need to wear the sheriff badge on your goddamn chest, okay? I immediately can clock this guy's cop behavior from 7 miles away.
You tired of shoveling snow, working in the cold, working in an area where people don't support you? You come work here. You have a scruff, you have tattoos. That works great for me. Come work with me and let's keep paradise paradise. Work where you're supported. Come join my family at the Lee County Sheriff's Office.
This is DEI, but for cops. Police, DEI for the police is, hey, you got scruff? You got face tats? Fucking don't care. We got that woke shit, you know, DEI. Well, what is it called? When I can't say the N-word to you, right? We got that. We got the cop DEI. Listen, we're harassing all kinds of minorities, okay? Black people. A lot of people think we're only joining the fucking Los Santos Police Department to harass black people. Guess what? We're harassing Mexicans too, and Mexicans of different variety. I heard there's Chinese Mexicans now. We're going to go find them. Lee County Sheriff and Director pseudo plot to plant drugs in a false arrest. Wow, shocking. Shocking. Wow, look at this guy. Yeah, I heard there's new Mexicans in Iran. And they're coming over the Mexican border, and we're going to find them, and we're going to apprehend them. He calls the jail there the Marceno Motel. Yeah, maybe he should go to the Marceno Motel, you know? Seemingly, he deserves a visit. This is illegal. Why are they allowed to do this without any kind of legal repercussions? In the suit, Mark Riley, a realtor, claimed he was falsely and illegally arrested on charges of drug possession in 2021. Hassan, you think this is fucked up when Lee County Sheriff Carmine Marceno does it, but you thought it was awesome when Saul Goodman, also known as Jimmy McGill, tried to do that to Howard Hamlin. And to that I say, yes, you're right, because, well, actually, no, I don't think it was okay that Saul Goodman did that to Howard Hamlin, actually. I think Howard Hamlin is kind of the GOAT, and I feel like he's never done anything wrong. Like, with the exception of, I guess, putting Kim Wexler, hotshot attorney Kim Wexler in doc review. Outside of, like, putting hotshot attorney Kim Wexler in doc review, he literally didn't do anything bad. Howard was a cokehead. Don't slander Jimmy. You guys are fucking bullshit. I will ride for this till the day I die. Okay? It is a genuine, it is an abortion what happened to him. Okay? It is so fucked up. He was ableist to Chuck. Chuck was ableist. What do you mean he was ableist to Chuck? Chuck did not have a valid clinical situation. That's the whole point. He was not ableist to Chuck. He, at first, you know what's really good about Better Call Saul is that it is unironically originally presented as like Howard Hamlin being a fucking piece of shit. And then you find out that he's not a piece of shit at all. He's just like kind of a good guy who's regularly getting fucked over. And like his entire point is that, yeah, he is definitely a nepotism beneficiary. Okay. But he was like one of the only people who was like an objectively, I would say, good person in the show with both their actions, with both, well, not him alone. The other lawyer too. Howard, objectively good. The other lawyer in the other Arizona facility, actually most of the other lawyers are good now that I think about it, except for fucking Jimmy. The McGills were assholes. Okay. Yeah. Cliff is a good guy. Cliff is a good guy. And so is Howard. And so is even the guy that like was defending the fucking old folks home. Like on the side of like the exploitative old folks home. Even he's a good guy. Even he's not a bad guy. Only true haters love Jimmy no matter what. Yeah, Jimmy is such a piece of shit, dude. Like, as much as I love Bob Odenkirk, like Jimmy is a very bad person. He is a massive, I mean massive scumbag. So I feel like you guys got the wrong lesson if you're like, nah, Jimmy's sick. That's the whole point of the show, is that he's a awful, corrupting, cancerous influence on everyone around him. People always get the wrong lesson. They loved Walt too. I mean, I love Jimmy as a character, but he is objectively a genuine scumbag, like a bad fucking dude. Clipping this and sending it to Mr. Beast. Oh no. The only lawyer you can trust? Yeah, Bird Law. We all love Tony Soprano. Bro, I think Tony Soprano has more redeeming qualities. Well, I guess Jimmy does too. Him being a public defender and doing public defender shit all the time is a pretty solid redeeming quality. Skylar acted the way 99% of any mom and wife would, and people are like, this fucking bitch cheated on Walt. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, what is this guy doing?
Present deadly physical force at one of our schools. We're not waiting 1 second.
Why is he like goading school shooters? Like, he's like, yeah, do a school shooting. I dare you. Come on, I'll give you the fucking gun myself.
Present deadly physical force at one of our schools. We're not waiting 1 second. We are going to kill you because you can't kill evil enough.
That's awesome. This guy fucking, what a clown ass. All right. Yeah, but she got on my nerves. Least racist Hasanabi mod. I kind of agree. What are we talking about? Jimmy always took care of his brother. Yeah, that's true. Despite Chuck being an objective piece of shit. All right. Speaking of misunderstood characters who get a bad rap for no fucking particular reason. Brando. That's right. Let's get to the goddamn news, okay? Biden says memory is fine after a special counsel report released. Now, of course, we covered this extensively yesterday. I'm sure my video will be out on this. But, yeah, this is a quick update for everybody that wasn't here yesterday when the situation was materializing in real time. Special prosecutor comes out with a report that features in its 388 total pages a bunch of damning items, like Joe Brandon did actually violate the law. He did actually retain and disclose classified information to people without a top secret security clearance. He was not supposed to do that. And but also he did cooperate with the authorities immediately, and therefore maybe he's not super guilty of it, and it would be hard to convict. Now, of course, that wasn't the only reason why he thought it was Brandon would be hard to convict. He also very clearly, under no uncertain terms, said that it would be hard because a jury would absolutely look for reasonable doubt because he would come across as an old, senile man with a kind heart. Now that's, and with memory issues. And part of the reason why he made this assessment, even though it's not technically a professional assessment, the only professional assessment here is like whether this is easy to prosecute or not type situation, right? Because he's saying this is how a jury would think, which makes sense. He said this is how a jury would think, which makes sense because, like, it's obviously not a major crime. It's obviously not like the worst crime of all time. And given that it's not the worst, like, it's not like he drove a car into an orphanage while he was drunk driving or some shit. You know what I mean? Preempting his genocide dare defense. Interesting take, maybe. But of course, liberals got very mad, big mad about this, and they were like, "This prosecutor is so fucking one-sided. He's phony. He's compromised. You know, he's got Mickey Mouse rings." That's what they said.
President Biden angry and defiant.
My memory is fine.
In a hastily called evening news conference.
I mean, let's keep it $150. I love yelling at random shitters, okay? And I think more people should do that. So it's very cool that Brandon literally did that. He went, he wanted to steal Tucker Carlson and Vladdy Pooh's thunder, and he went live, and he just unloaded on a gaggle of press. I have to pee while he does that now.
The president responding directly to special counsel Robert Hur's report on his handling of classified documents.
Mr. President, on the document!
That included a blistering assessment of the 81-year-old's age and what the report called his diminished faculties in advancing age. The president slamming Hur's assessment that he did not remember when his son Beau died.
How in the hell dare he raise that? I don't need anyone. I don't need anyone to remind me when he passed away.
The remarks coming hours after the special counsel said our investigation uncovered evidence that President Biden willfully retained and disclosed classified materials after his vice presidency, but said no criminal charges are warranted in this matter, adding that a jury would likely see the president as a sympathetic, well-meaning, and elderly man with a poor memory.
I'm well-meaning, and I'm an elderly man, and I know what the hell I'm doing.
Moments later, the president confusing Mexico and Egypt when talking about the crisis in Gaza.
The president of Mexico, Sisi, did not want to open up the gate to allow humanitarian material to get in.
The special counsel said Mr. Biden kept documents about Afghanistan marked classified and notebooks with handwritten entries implicating intelligence sources and methods.
These assertions are not only misleading, they're just plain wrong.
Prosecutors say these photos show classified documents improperly stored in a badly damaged box near a collapsed dog crate in the president's Delaware garage. A separate special counsel is investigating former President Trump's alleged mishandling of classified information found at his Mar-a-Lago estate. Mr. Trump, who has pleaded not guilty to 40 federal criminal counts, blasting the lack of charges against President Biden, calling it a two-tiered system of justice. But the Hur report says there are clear differences, saying Mr. Biden alerted authorities about the documents and cooperated with the investigation, while Mr. Trump allegedly did the opposite, enlisting others to destroy evidence and then to lie about it.
So why speak out? Late last night, White House officials, sources tell NBC News, concluded that the president needed to address the special counsel's most damning allegations head on to show his anger. They found the attacks on his memory, in the words of one source, gratuitous, and believed it was critical that the president call out what they see as purely political criticism from her, who they argue was concerned about potential backlash from conservatives for not charging President Biden with a crime. Savannah.
All right, Peter, thank you. When I get more on this, the fallout, the report, and President Biden's response, NBC senior Washington correspondent Hallie Jackson is with us. Hallie, as you look at this and analyze this, I mean, it's a body blow to President Biden in a place where he already was vulnerable.
Yep. This is the worst aspect of Brandon. Okay. Like, other than from the way that, like, I guess the actual voters in the United States of America care about. Obviously, the worst thing that Biden has done is completely allow genocide to continue and fund and facilitate it, obviously. But voters don't care about that, or at least likely voters don't care about that for the most part. They're old, they're rich, and they've been fed a healthy diet of pro-Israel propaganda their entire lives. However, the one thing that voters do recognize is the fact that Joseph Robinette Brandon is fucking old. He's really old. That's it. Anyone who tries to come at me and tell me that my man is not old as hell is delusional. Okay? It's crazy. Voters are going to remember. He cannot remember his own son's death. I think that part he neutralized, I guess, to a certain degree. But I just, he's young, but counting from 100 down. Stop hating. Yeah. So I don't know why people basically run this narrative or try to like defend the narrative that Brandon isn't coming across as like old, or they try to say that it's actually like clips that he gets hit with, and that's the reason why he translates as old on camera. Or that he has a stutter, and that's why he said the president of Mexico is El Sisi. Like, that's not... No, he's just old, man. I don't know why you're trying to... You look delusional when you say that. You know what I mean? Oh, y'all are so funny dunking on an 81-year-old man's poor memory. like you don't use a password manager, lose your phone anywhere from 6 to 30 times a day, and dig the pizza box out of the garbage to check bake time. Okay. I think this might have been a joke, but I don't know. Legitimately, this post is a sign that Biden and the Democratic Party are beyond help. That Cope is almost on the exact level as haters and your haters in absolute insanity. Yeah, I don't really know. I assume that might be a joke because like there's no fucking shot that person is like that person is saying that seriously, like comparing it to the president, you know? The man is 15 years older than the average life expectancy when he was born. Yeah, so anyway, it is kind of cooked that like a lot of people are basically saying like, no, you don't get it. Like, there's a reason for this, and it's actually good. No, you don't get it. Like, Biden is actually, he's old, but so is Trump. Like, no, man, he doesn't translate on camera to be mentally coherent for an extended period of time in the same way that Trump does. That's it. Okay, they're both old. So is Bernie Sanders. But if you were to tell me, like, who is more there, who has more going on up there between Bernie Sanders, who's older, and Joe Biden, I would say Bernie Sanders. Like, that's the difference, especially at that age. Like, some people are blessed and some people are not. Okay, Joe Brandon, not blessed in that department. Okay. Yeah, Bernie forgets words too, like the word ceasefire or the word apartheid state or the word genocide. Those are words that Bernie Sanders has forgotten, possibly because he's old. Okay, it happens. However, having said that was a good take, chatter. However, having said all of that, this is more of an optics situation, and a lot of Americans care about politics from the perspective of optics. That's it. It's odd that people still refuse to reckon with that reality. Okay. Mike from PA is trying to manipulate the libs. Yeah. Mike from PA, this reeks of desperation. What are you doing, dog? Oh no. Oh no, they're gonna be in. They're gonna recognize that you're this is a fake out. Where are my K-hivers at? Why are none of you telling Biden, that white man, to step aside? He's going to lose the election for Kamala. Respect. We're K-hivers, dude. Oh, Jesus. Do you think his age will affect voter turnout, or do lubes not care? No, his age will affect voter turnout. Of course it affects voter turnout. Voter turnout is dictated not by like simply the people who always reliably vote, but also all of the other demographics that maybe aren't as likely to vote under different circumstances. A couple of things that always elect voter turnout is whether they like the candidate or not, what his approval ratings look like, or on either side. Like, for example, negative campaigning oftentimes has the capacity to depress voter turnout, right? And there is nothing, I would say, that is more negative than having one really old guy who's like indicted, okay, who has like 100 charges on him for seemingly never being able to stop himself from doing crimes and schemes in general. And then another even older guy who's doing a fucking genocide and doesn't even recognize that that's happening, partially because he's, an ultra-Zionist, sure, but also because he's fucking old and demented. You know what I mean? It sucks. That doesn't really spell a lot of enthusiasm for turnouts, especially from the perspective of like people that don't normally go out and vote in every election. Because for some reason, people, especially in the Democratic Party, I would say, forget that the Democrats are supposed to win your vote and not vice versa. Like, we don't have a moral obligation to vote Democrat. and that like they have to win your vote, and they have to demonstrate why they are worthy of winning your vote again by showing their competence in office. But in our weird duopoly, that's completely cast aside, and people go, excuse me, it's 98% Hitler voting time, and you're going to like it. You know? It's so odd that Americans fantasize about how terrible other systems are, other electoral systems are, and then we'll literally be like, if you're not a party loyalist, you're going to get deported, and I'm going to sit here and enjoy the show. It's like, what the fuck? So you just want, you want like Chi-Com style governance then. That's what you want. It's just like, it's team sport. It's also not very different than like the way Trumpers operate in general. So, you know, having said all that, situation looks dire.
How damaging do you think this could be?
Well, here's another phrase for it, gut punch. That's the way that one source described it to me on the Democratic side, Savannah. To see these quotes specifically about memories, specifically about mental state of President Biden here. And that is partly because it validates in many ways, again, in the eyes of some Biden allies, the preconceived notions, the preconceived concerns that voters already have about the president. We already know that 3/4 of voters, based on our most recent poll, believe that they do have concerns about President Biden, his age, his mental fitness for the job, essentially. And what this is doing, it is going directly at that, Savannah. That is part of why you are seeing, I think, a level of concern among those in the Democratic Party about how this plays out, what the fallout could potentially be. Now, listen, there's often much said about Democratic bedwetting, if you will. I did speak with one person who said, listen, some of these concerns when it comes to November could end up being overblown. But I do think that there are those close to the president who are in that orbit who believe that this could be potentially damaging for him down the road. Savannah.
Bad reference there. Okay, I'm sorry. Ooh, not looking too good. You don't want to invoke things that commonly happen to people who lose their mental faculties when talking about Brandon. You know what I mean? This is a real life fallen and I can't get up type situation. Okay. Anyway. Do you think this stays in anyone's minds all the way to fall? People forget entire ass wars in a few weeks. Wait, what? The problem isn't that people will remember the Mexico flub or anything like that, or the special prosecutor's report. The problem is that next week, Biden is going to literally do another public appearance, and he is going to have another flub and another one and another one. He's going to forget that at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. He's going to be like, look alive, Jack. There's no ad breaks out here. And you don't have to subscribe, but you do. Because for $5 or for free, you can avoid the top of the hour ad break. Okay? So, like, it's not like Biden is magically going to stop being old. It's the one thing. It's his biggest weakness. And it's unfortunately the only thing time can't fix. So, you know, that's a one-way train, baby, and the train has left the goddamn station. Do you feel me? Next week, he's just a week older, so more likely that he will have more flubs, more gaffes. So the idea that, like, this will pass, yeah, they won't remember exactly why they felt like Biden was old from specifically February 8th, 2024, but they will know that Biden is old. And he's falling asleep on the wheel. Like, even as it pertains to Israel-Palestine, I brought this up. Like, the way that he has dealt with the situation from the eyes of the voter. I put my fucking electoral hat on, okay? I put my Mr. DNC analyst hat on for a moment. For those of you to understand a little bit better. If I'm a DNC guy, if I'm a wonk, if I'm a policy guy, if I'm a, let's say, a person tasked with electing Joe Biden. Okay. I look at the situation with Israel-Palestine. I look at a lot of the demographics that he is supposed to captivate. Okay. And bring forward like the same demos that actually got him over the finish line in the last election, right? I recognize that a lot of young people a lot of young people in America don't have the same approach to Israel no more, right? And I also look at the situation in front of me. Biden looks weak. He looks old. He looks feeble. He looks like he's asleep on the wheel. Okay? And there is no better way to reinforce that narrative over and over again to the public when you have a genuine mismatch in your way of communicating what our most important ally, Israel, is doing in the fucking Middle East, specifically in Gaza. You don't have to be like a woke pro-Palestinian guy to look at the situation where Biden keeps saying, like, look alive, Jack, we're gonna dial it back on Israel. Like, Benjamin Netanyahu, I promise he's gonna dial it back, actually. Like, oh, it's but also no red lines. But also, I'm gonna keep giving you guns, but also don't do that as much. And there will be a two-state solution. And you say that, and then Benjamin Netanyahu, your literal welfare recipient, okay, goes on television and in no uncertain terms openly says, abso-fucking-lutely not will there not be a two-state solution. We love doing genocide. I'm going to keep genociding the Amalek or whatever the fuck. That makes Biden look bad. It makes him look weak. It makes him look incredibly weak. It reinforces the very same fears that many Americans have. I'm not even kidding. Like, if he was unconditionally in support of Israel without any kind of like, oh, we got to stop. If he was pulling a John Fetterman, at least he would look stronger. You know what I mean? If he was pulling a John Fetterman and going, yeah, no, I love Israel. Shut the fuck up. Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East. I don't give a fuck. Those are Muslim dogs. Sure, obviously a lot of young people will be like, that's gross and disgusting. But at least to the people that are definitely going to go out and vote, he would look stronger. He would lose all the Dems. There's a better way to message. There's a reason why, in the eyes of the American public, in the eyes of the electorate, they think Donald Trump would be better on Israel than Joe Biden. Okay? Do you understand? Like, this is an often forgotten perspective. Do I think Joe Biden is handling Israel better than Donald Trump? No, I think Joe Biden is handling Israel in the exact same ways as Donald Trump would be, or maybe Donald Trump would be worse. But when you're already at the brink of, when you're already doing ethnic cleansing, like, there's very little room for movement in the other direction anyway. Okay? You can't tell me that Donald Trump would be better for Palestinians than Joe Biden. You can't. Okay? Because Biden's Israel handling is almost identical to Trump's and a continuation of Trump's in many ways. So, having said all of that, that is the reason why more Americans think Trump would be doing a better job on Israel than Biden, because at least Trump's message would be probably in line with what America's actions are. Does that make sense? Like, he comes across as a strong leader who is unconditionally protecting our allies. Biden, on the other hand, comes across as a weak leader, asleep at the wheel, and can't manage the conflict. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say here, okay? Biden mixes up a county and you still talk about it 24 hours later. Trump mixes up a country and you don't even mention it. That's so funny that you think I didn't mention the Trump mix-up of the country, because I did. I didn't see it while I was streaming. I do love when people say, Hassan, you like want Trump to be elected, because like, I don't make it a secret that I despise the Republican Party, despise conservatism in all forms, and especially Donald Trump as a manifestation of all of those things. But I did mention it. I mentioned it last night. It's a classic mistake. However, Hungarians are not Turks.
Anywhere in the world.
Yeah, here it is.
Viktor Orban. Did anyone ever hear of him? He's probably like one of the strongest leaders anywhere in the world. And he's the leader of...
This was in October or something. It just got reposted yesterday. So one thing that you don't understand, though, is that Trump flubs all the time. He gaffes all the time. He's also a gaffe machine. However, the analysis on whether or not a candidate is all there is a purely optics and vibes based analysis. And the reality is, and I've repeated this time and time again, Trump is insane, but he's mentally coherent. Biden tries to present himself as a sane person, but he comes across as incoherent, low energy, and sometimes senile. Okay? It is how charitable you are to that president, how much you are willing to forget. Wait, what? Trump is old too? That is not correct. He literally mentioned it earlier. Yeah, Biden doesn't have the same finesse that he used to have. A younger version of Biden would have been able to message correctly around this issue while still supplying bombs to Israel. Yeah. So that's the issue. And under no uncertain, I'm not saying like Trump is a better leader than Joe Biden at all. I'm not saying that at all. As a matter of fact, I'm always mad at Joe Biden for continuing Trump's awful Israel policies. But in the way that like the American voter base analyzes this stuff, vibes play a significant role. Vibes play a big role in the matter, and the vibes are fucked when it comes to Biden. Everybody correctly sees the way Biden looks and acts and talks and says he's old. The way people think about Trump, however, is not that he's old, is that he's despotic. He is a potentially very authoritarian second term that will greatly accelerate America's fascist demise. That is the exact opposite of old. They think he's powerful and scary. And why am I saying this? I'm saying this because that's what the polls show. A big chunk of Americans, including those who are interested in voting for Trump, consistently mark him as a potentially authoritarian leader. That's terrifying. The fact that there are Republicans in the polls that say he's authoritarian and that's why I want to vote for him, and the Democrats say he's authoritarian, means that a lot of people read him as a scary figure, not a senile figure. You don't have to ban everyone that says I'm a tanky immediately. You know, it's hard to message someone as both scary / despotic and senile. Yeah. What do you think his approval rating will be if it was Biden from 20 years ago? Here's a great example of what it would look like. Tell me if you think the Biden that you saw last night in any way, shape, or form resembles the Biden from not that long ago, from 8 years ago, right? I want to show you a different Brandon, a Brandon from 2016. Okay, hold on. I'm going through my likes to try to find this Brandon, and I cannot find it for the life of me. Where is this Brandon? Here, I'm going to find it. Hold on. This is Joe Brandon from, I retweeted it, but it's gone. I think the account that posted it deleted it or something. Oh, never mind. I don't know why it's not showing up in my likes. This is Joe Brandon from just 8 years ago. Now tell me if this is the type of Brandon that would, tell me how you think this Brandon would perform in the polls.
You know, if Bernie Sanders never said he was a democratic socialist, based on what he's saying, people wouldn't be calling him a democratic socialist. That's how he characterizes himself in sort of European terms, the democratic socialist parties in Europe.
But why is she having trouble?
Well, I think that Bernie is speaking to a yearning that is deep and real, and he has credibility on it. And that is the absolute enormous concentration of wealth in a small group of people with the middle class now being able to be shown being left out. There used to be a basic bargain. If you contributed to the profitability of an enterprise, you got to share in the profit. That's been broken.
Dog, this ain't in the 90s, okay? This is 2016. When he ran and dropped out. Which, by the way, thanks, Obama. Okay? Turns out turns out we could have completely avoided a Trump. Okay? We could have completely avoided a fucking Trump if Obama hadn't told this old fuck to not run and basically say, hey, you don't want to come third place. Technically, he didn't run. He gave up because Bo died. Wait, am I misremembering? No, he wanted to run. He wanted to run in 2016, but his son had passed. But the real story isn't, unless I'm misremembering, no, this is the real story. Obama, I'm pretty sure, gave him a call and said, you don't want to be in a fucking Best Western sitting by yourself. I'm paraphrasing, but like I almost remember the exact terms. He called him up and he said, you don't want to be sitting in a Best Western in like fucking Wisconsin or whatever by yourself, coming third place to Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. Yeah. Yep, this is it. New York Times reports. Former President Obama in 2015 pushed former Vice President Joe Biden not to run for president in 2015. I think the real reason why he did not want Joe Brandon to run, of course, was because he most likely just wanted Hillary to not get a split ticket vote situation and then end up losing out to Bernie Sanders. Ironic, because he should have given that call to fucking Hill Dog. Do you think he would have beaten Trump in 2016? I don't know. I think so. Yeah, I do think so, actually. I think that people were looking for someone who wasn't an partisan institutionalist, which Joe Biden clearly was. But I think even Hillary could have beaten Donald Trump, and she just campaigned poorly. It was so close that he didn't do Benghazi. No, Benghazi is fucking bullshit. They just hated. Everybody fucking hated Hillary Clinton. That's it. Anyway, according to the Times, Obama gently pressed Biden on his 2016 presidential ambitions over several weeks. He then ultimately had a strategist deliver a discouraging assessment of Biden of his odds in the race against the then frontrunner Hillary Clinton. What does it say? Mossad's. The president was not encouraging Biden, later said, according to the New York Times. Obama believed at the time Clinton, who would become the Democratic presidential nominee and lose to President Trump in the general election, had the best chance to win, according to the Times. Obama also didn't think Biden was in the right state of mind to campaign for president. Wait, where's that line? He didn't fucking put it. The actual line that Obama apparently delivered is bars, okay? The actual line that Barack Obama delivered to Joe Biden is straight bars. I've talked about it before, where he's like, you don't want to be third place, sitting in a fucking hotel by yourself, okay? You don't want to be third place to Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton, sitting by yourself in a fucking hotel room, you know? It was a very poetic way that he put it, even though, turns out, shouts out to Barack Obama. Thanks, Obama. You fucked it. Okay, you fucked it, and you fucked it again and again and again and again. Now, why am I showing you this? Okay, this was the Brandon back then.
Wages are
But
stagnant.
Hillary's talking about that as well.
Well, it's relatively new for Hillary to talk about that. Hillary's focus has been on other things up to now, and that's been Bernie's. No one questions Bernie's authenticity on those issues.
So that's Brandon in 2016. Here's Brandon last night.
I'm of the view, as you know, that the conduct of the response in the Gaza Strip has been over the top. I think that, as you know, initially the president of Mexico, Sisi, did not want to open up the gate to allow.
He sounds like he's getting better. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah. No, dude, he sounds sexier now. I am really horny for people with 1 HP.
Humanitarian material to get in. I talked to him. I convinced him to open the gate. I talked to Bibi to open the gate on the Israeli side. I've been pushing really hard.
Yeah, he said, Mr. Vice President, you had a remarkable career, and it would be wrong to see it end in some hotel room in Iowa with you finishing third behind Bernie Sanders. That's what he told Joe Brandon, to not fucking run. That wasn't Obama, by the way. It was an Obama advisor. Sorry, it wasn't Obama. Obama said other things, but Obama also urged him not to run. But an Obama advisor said those words, I guess, directly. So, man, Obama really hated everyone around him, huh? How do people like Will Stansel argue that it's just out of context TikTok that make Joe Brandon look senile? It's very clearly every time he talks. They want a job. I think a lot of people want a job, or they just like love being celebrated by people that they care about, like Matty Iglesias or whatever, who do actually have jobs. It's just Twitter shit, dog. A lot of people are just desperate for some kind of like attention and kinship. You know, we're all fucking lonely. We're alienated from our labor. We're isolated. And we sit around and we write stuff and we want people to like us and celebrate us. That's why Will Stansel was like a diehard Elizabeth Warren supporter and used to shit on Biden's mental faculties, and then turned around and now says when Biden's mental faculties have gotten even worse than the election cycle, where he was shitting on Biden's mental faculties. And it was a big no-no, by the way. It was a big no-no to bring this up. Remember when Biden became the candidate? And remember, like, the president has, how do you know you are not in that situation? What do you mean? How do I know what? How do I know that Biden is not all there? I mean, I see it. I see it with my own two eyes. Like, I don't have to understand. Like, my grandmother had Alzheimer's. I didn't have to literally be her to understand that she had Alzheimer's. Like, do you think doctors, for example, lonely, sad, and want to be recognized? Oh, well, I mean, you're playing into it right now, chatter. You're doing exactly what I just mentioned. But also, that's my assessment. It might be wrong, but I think that that's where it comes from. I don't know if you know this, but I'm a political commentator, and in a lot of instances, like, I am, of course, going to speculate. I assume that Will Stansel did not have like a genuine change of heart about a person who has become even more senile than like 4 years ago when he was calling them senile, right? I think it's probably another reason. And a lot of people, I think, are motivated by a sense of like being recognized. Yeah. Okay. A truly amazing thing I'm learning is that in private, many people in politics will freely talk about how Biden isn't all there anymore, but many don't care because they want to beat Bernie, intentionally trying to nominate a candidate approaching senility. This is such an insane climax of all the years of DC Dems ignoring how fucking old he is, LaMaFeao. I can't believe it. Yeah. I don't know why you sent me this. Is this your tweet? Because I don't know what the stage 5 means here. What is this? I feel like this gave my brain a stroke. It's an album meme. No way Hassan will get it. A caretaker meme. I mean, guys, the question remains, like, I said this about Dianne Feinstein. It's like, do you trust this person to drive a car? Okay? And don't do the whole, like, oh, well, a blind person could be president. Like, that's not what I mean, okay? Do you trust this person to drive a fucking car? And if not, then why the fuck do you trust them to drive the country and the nukes? It's an album about Alzheimer's. It's a series of ambient albums that try to emulate the experience of having Alzheimer. Why the fuck? What?
The health of California Senator Dianne Feinstein. The 89-year-old Democrat recently returned to Capitol Hill in a 3-month absence due to a bout of shingles. Her office confirms that she's dealing with some serious complications.
What do you mean? She looks perfectly fine. Nothing to worry about. Look at this, dude. It's so fucked. Oh, no, dude. This is nothing to worry about. What are you guys talking about? What the fuck? You just hate to see a sexy ass woman have it all? I'm going to hell. How about the people that are propping her up with a fucking stick behind her back? What about the people that are like, no, dude, don't say anything is wrong. There's literally nothing wrong with this. Everything is fine. Yeah, this is some... I mean... Brother, you got shingles at a quarter the age of Feinstein? I got a shingle the 10th the age of Feinstein, okay? Not even a quarter, the 10th. I should have thought she was dead already. Well, she is dead now. She died shortly after this. Compared to our very healthy president 4 years ago, dude, listen, that's normal, okay? Who amongst us does not have, like... Who amongst us doesn't just start fucking bleeding out of their eye? Like, something terrible, something like biblical is happening, okay? Oh, Jesus Christ. What the fuck are we doing? I think it's obviously shitty. I think it's obviously shitty that, you know, Brandon is a corpse. I think it's also even shittier that, like, a lot of Democrats are just basically trying to delude themselves into believing that he's not or something. Or they think that, or maybe they think that, like, other people, if you say it long enough, like other people who can, like, very clearly see it with their own two eyes will now change their opinion on it or something. You know? I feel like, listen, I'm sorry. I feel like the way that the Democrats are approaching the subject matter is basically like Will Neff when he talks about fucking the Jets, okay? Like, he knows that the Jets are not going to win, but he wants to believe. You know what I mean? He believed so hard in Aaron Rodgers. He still rides for him. Okay? Aaron Rodgers basically played, what, 4 minutes? Played 4 minutes. And he's still like, come on, it's going to be different this year. And I feel like, and he's still like, come on. Aaron Rodgers is going to come back. He's going to make a return. He's actually going to, you know, he played 4 snaps. Not even 4 minutes. And I feel like being a Democratic Party loyalist, it's kind of like being a Jets fan at this point. Okay? Yeah, Aaron Rodgers played 75 whole seconds, 4 snaps. Okay? But next year might be different. Trust me. If you believe in him, he will do it. He will do the thing. So they think, I guess the difference is Will kind of deep down inside knows that it's not happening. Whereas some of the Democrats do think that if they keep repeating it, it will move beyond a meme and turn into a reality.
And partly because Republicans are not going to let go on this.
Well, if you look no further than the White House calling for a primetime news conference to address these very issues, that shows the White House considers it to be quite serious.
And so you look at the remarks overnight, Savannah, and again, very interesting here. We don't often see these sort of impromptu news conferences, if you will, from President Biden. He's not, for example, doing a traditional Super Bowl interview. We've talked about that on Sunday here. Part of this, right, is depending on how you see it, gives a sense of how you take away from the remarks, right? And by that, I mean this. Democrats will look at this and say, listen, he was emotional. He really forcefully responded to what Republicans have seized on, which is the idea that he forgot about when his own son died. You saw the president get choked up about that. You saw the president really respond there. At the same time, and this is something that those on the other side of the aisle are pointing to, he confused Mexico and Egypt when he came back to the podium, by the way, after almost walking away. And that is something that you are also seeing people talk about this morning. So it kind of depends on how you look at it.
I just have a few seconds, Hallie, but I just have to ask. I mean, listen, neither one of these candidates are young men. Let's be honest, okay? And both have.
Yeah, the only thing they're doing the last bastion of defense. Okay, it's the no you. Okay, that's what the Democrats are resorting to because they have nothing else. That's it. That's what they're doing, and like. Obviously, I mean, look, Brian Tyler Cohen is doing it here. Biden Harris HQ is doing it. And it's funny because it's like, well, one, Jesse Waters is a fucking idiot. But I think it doesn't, like, I think these people don't understand why people think Biden is senile. People think Biden is senile because he does these gaffes in every single moment. And the handlers around him are aware of this, which is why they greatly limit his appearances. 2 years in a row with no Super Bowl interview, things of that nature. Like moments where he's supposed to have like good media opportunities, he doesn't take. The handlers law. I mean, handlers isn't like people around him. Yes, everyone has handlers. Not like, I'm not saying he has handlers because he's like demented and they have to wheel him out. I mean like handlers in the sense that there are real handlers around every single politician, even though he does have dementia. So, yeah, AIDS. Exactly. So, it doesn't make sense to try to be like, well, Trump is also senile too. Because, like, no matter what happens, you put both of those guys side by side. Trump, while he does say insane things on a regular basis, comes across as not senile. He comes across as not anywhere near as senile as Brandon does. That's it. Like, remember when Trump did the, I actually am the most mentally competent. Look, I did woman, man, camera, TV. Like, that shit is definitely approaching senility. But Brandon looks even worse than that. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe it's Trump's narcissism, but I feel like Trump has other mental health problems that stop people from paying attention to whether or not he's senile or not. Does that make sense? Like, people are way too focused on the narcissism and the mania and how despotic he is than how senile he might potentially be. Okay? I think his insanity doesn't come from him being old. I think his insanity comes from him being a psychotic narcissist. Brandon, on the other hand, is supposed to be the normie guy. He's supposed to be the guy who is going to restore a sense of order. He has an incredibly long track record, an incredibly long career, longer than people's lives, of being the reasonable center voice in the Democratic Party. He's the elderly statesman. So the expectation is that he's supposed to be more reasonable and normal. In my opinion, if he actually turned around and hit that whole, like, I'm not old, Jack, and did more of the Mac Attack style, more dynamic approaches to the media every time he has a media hit, I think, that would probably present better to a broader audience.
Agree. It was too emotional. You're right. Get a good night's sleep on it. Come together, have a nice breakfast, cup of coffee the next morning, and then you're on your game. Dana, thank you so much, and I'm sure I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
South Carolina Governor Kristi Noem joins us now, and we're going to turn around some. Agree. It was too emotional.
Damn, dude, fucking got him. Oh, sure. Like, he should lean into the senile talk? No, they should pump him full of whatever kind of fucking adrenochrome they have in stock and just wheel him out there to fucking freak out on people, okay? Because, like, at least if he freaks out on people, he looks more dynamic. He looks like he's alive, okay? Because right now he's like, he always is like, does the like old man thing where he's like looking down in his notes and he's like quiet. And I always feel like he just looks fragile. Okay. Anytime I see this motherfucker on a podium, he always looks fragile as hell. Like a light breeze is going to take him out. That's not a good look. The president is not projecting strength, folks. I personally don't give a shit. Okay? Because guess what? I, at the very least, understand that it's not like one guy running the show. There are instances where one guy might, I guess, massage the outcomes as long as it's like still leaning in the direction of like American empire, like in Israel, Palestine. Okay? But I understand that it's not Brandon alone doing this shit. Of course not. However, many Americans don't look at it like that. They look at it from the perspective of like, this is the one guy. He's got the nuclear football. Anyway.
Have had senior moments. Donald Trump recently confusing Nikki Haley and Nancy Pelosi on January 6th. There have been other gaffes about, you know, the next, we're going to start World War II and so forth. Do voters treat them equally in terms of that issue?
They don't, and we see that in the polls. Only 48, fewer than half of voters, Savannah, in our most recent poll have the same concerns about Donald Trump's age and mental fitness for the job than they do about President Biden. For whatever reason that is something that is a consternation, I think, to Democrats here.
Wait, what's the percentage for Biden? Why didn't they show that?
As they move forward in this campaign season.
All right, Hallie Jackson.
Yeah, okay, 48% for Trump. What's the percentage for Biden? It's like 78, isn't it? No, it's like incredibly fucking high.
And thank you very much.
Like, it's not even a question. Here, there were some interesting moments in the sea of senility, of course. Obviously, like I said, I think he did better.
Let's talk.
I think Brandon performed better than you would expect. Okay, that doesn't mean that he did phenomenally well. I gave it a what? What did I give it last night? Like a 6.5 or a 7.5 out of 10. Okay. Because I thought that like him neutralizing the he forgot his son's death moment, him successfully neutralizing the you forgot your son's death moment was pretty solid. Right? Because like then it's like, whoa, how dare you? I didn't forget my son's death. That's really fucked up. I'm choking up even when I think about it. And then beyond that, I mean, he forgot the church where he got the rosary from. Fine, whatever. People are not really talking about that. But then also him yelling, I think, about how he's not old. Like, that's still dynamic. It still kind of shows there's a little bit of life in him. I wish he would yell about other shit. Right? But then he fucking boofed it with the whole Mexico flub, and now everyone's talking about it. Of course they're going to talk about it. He has a gaffe every single time. He says, Sisi, president of Mexico.
All of a sudden, President Xi starts thinking in terms of Taiwan. He's certainly thinking a lot about it. They weren't.
Yeah, our big, beautiful boys at the NRA conference, but I'm not going to watch this right now. Do you think this tips the election odds at all? Guys, it's not a one-stop situation. What are we talking about? No, this is not going to tip the election. This is just yet another sea of L's that will hurt his re-election campaign, though.
About Democrats' reaction to Joe Biden.
Anyway, Claire McCaskill saying what the special counsel did was clearly political. Look, the Justice Department has a lot of guys like her, okay? The dude who wrote the special prosecutor that was appointed by Merrick Garland, okay? These guys are very similar. I would say like her is he's very similar to not Jim Comey, the other guy. What was his name? The fucking Obama era guy who's like obviously right wing that everyone wanted to fuck. Robert, whatever, the other guy, Robert Mueller. I can't believe I forgot his name. So there are a lot of dudes that have worked in the FBI, worked in these kinds of specific prosecutions that are definitely right wing, but also love the law. You know what I mean? Who wanted to fuck Mueller? Are you kidding me? So many goddamn libtards had lost their minds and they were like, oh, I want to fucking clap his cheeks. I want to get my cheeks clapped by him. So there are a lot of dudes who are, no, Jim Comey too. Jim Comey and Robert Mueller are like, in that same vein, who are definitely right-wing, openly so, but while they're definitely right-wing, they also care about the law a lot. Like they're institutionalists, right? And And I think Hur is exactly that same kind of dude. He's right wing, but he got appointed for this matter because Merrick Garland thought he would do an honest job so that you could just like destroy any kind of doubt that this is a one-sided affair or that this is like in any way, shape, or form going to be perceived as biased. So I don't believe that like his like the way he wrote that report was over the top or in any way, shape, or form like openly too anti-Biden or anything like that. Okay. But that's what the MSNBC line is.
Biden and the special counsel report yesterday and the press conference last night. What is the impact of yesterday on the Biden presidency?
Well, I think what I'm hearing is there is an acknowledgement that this special counsel went outside the lines. There was no need for him to bring in some of the things he put in the report. Frankly, trying to say that the reason a jury wouldn't convict him is because he's elderly and didn't mean to do it or whatever is silly. A jury wouldn't convict him because he cooperated and immediately wanted to give over the documents, wanted to give them everything, and never tried to mislead them, never tried to hide the documents, never did the stuff that the guy with the orange face down at the golf club did with the...
Oh, God, Claire McCaskill, I hate her so much. I think he definitely knew what he was doing, saying he's too senile to prosecute. That gets them so much more traction than trying to press charges. I mean, I don't think he was, like, actively trying to undermine Joe Biden's re-election campaign, if that's what you're implying here. Like, I do legitimately think it's an honest assessment that he made. It's a Merrick Garland appointee, guys. You could maybe say that he wanted to not look even remotely partisan. Okay? And that's why he went extra hard. But you can't say that he was like, deliberately trying to fuck Biden over. I don't agree with that. I think, I mean, here, this is like, these guys, you can look at their chat, you can look at their track record. Okay? You can look at their fucking track record. These aren't like, this isn't a guy that just came out of nowhere. You know what I mean? You can look at their track record. You can look at their history. You can look at their prosecutorial history and like which way they've deliberated here. This is Ryan J. Riley, okay, NBC News justice reporter. He said, people can disagree with Robert Hur's language in the report, but it's tough to argue in good faith he's just a partisan hack. Here he is in the middle of Trump's first impeachment trial, speaking about the case against a would-be domestic terrorist who targeted Trump's enemies. U.S. Attorney Robert Hur, who was in court for sentencing today, says Christopher Hassan crossed the line into racist and violent action.
Mr. Hassan held racist and hateful views, and he spoke racist and hateful speech. But Mr. Hassan crossed the line between racist thoughts and racist speech. He crossed the line into racist and violent action. And at that point, when people are preparing to take violent steps, that is when law enforcement needs to step in before harm is done and before lives.
Jeffrey Berman also wrote in his book about how Robert Hur wouldn't adopt a bullshit investigation into John Kerry. The Hur report also completely guts the ridiculous comparisons between the Trump and Biden situation, pointing how much worse Trump's alleged conduct was than Biden's. That's not something a partisan hack does, even if you disagree with his language elsewhere in the report. That's it. This is very important for you to understand, because he also very openly said, like, listen, this is not as bad as a case as like the Trump situation, right? Because there's like very clear-cut evidence for obstruction of justice, like deliberately retaining classified information and routinely lying to the authorities and obstructing justice, trying to get other people to also obstruct justice, lying to your fucking lawyers. Like, there's a shit ton there that is like there's more to prosecute there with the Trump case. If he's a partisan hack, he doesn't have to mention any of that. That's a different case. Why would he mention this? When you are the first special counsel in history not to indict anybody, there's pressure to criticize and to make, you know, statements that maybe in otherwise you wouldn't make. Ian Sams, a spokesperson for the White House counsel's office, told reporters at the White House on Friday that while the office agrees that the report is gratuitous, he believes Hur may have also felt pressure to take shots at Biden to make up for not indicting him. Do you remember what I just said earlier? In order to make sure that there's no doubt that this guy is not like pro-Biden in any capacity, you might have said he maybe seasoned it up a little bit, okay? But you can't say he's a partisan fucking hack. He is the classic right-wing fucking, like, inherently right-wing prosecutor, because you have to be right-wing if you're a fucking prosecutor, let's be real, okay? He's a classic right-wing guy who cares about the law. He's a law autist, okay? He's just like, is quite typical. Little baby's sleeping. The James Comey comparisons are much more apt here, which is quite something considering that Hur was a senior advisor to Rod Rosenstein, who very famously wrote a certain memo about the Four Corners rule. Yeah, that's why I made this exact same comparison. Like Jim Comey, Robert Mueller, these are guys who are like right-wing, right? But they care more about like institutional norms. They're norm respecters. Okay? It also feels kind of Trumpy to cry about an alleged partisan special counsel. Why do Democrats insist on validating conservative narratives? Well, it's also funny because like they're crying about it, but they're crying about it in a way that like doesn't really make sense because he chose not to prosecute him. Like if he was fucking, guys, if we're talking this guy's a partisan hack, he's prosecuting not Donald Trump, he's prosecuting Joe Biden. He's got him. He's taking that shit to court. Why wouldn't he? Do you think that it is better to just say he's too old to prosecute and leave it? Or do you think it's better to hold him up in court when you know his ass is old as fuck and he has to sit in front of a jury? Are you joking? If you think that Joe Biden is performing poorly every time he's on TV because he can't like hold his shit together, how do you think he will perform in a court where he legally has to be there? He's just mad he had no winning case, so he smeared him. No, man, these guys aren't like that. They don't operate this way. You're crazy. Ugh. Anyway. Yeah, but the optics aren't good and plays into the right-wing narrative that he's somehow weaponizing his Justice Department. Wait, what? The right is going to say that the Justice Department is biased towards Biden because that's Biden's Justice Department no matter what. Democrats are always going to also be institutional norm respecters, okay? He literally said a jury would look for reasonable doubt because he comes across as an old man with memory issues, and not just because of his testimony on October 8th, but because of his other testimony, or rather his other crime in 2017, where he voluntarily revealed top secret information to a fucking ghostwriter. People are not even talking about that on the Democratic side because they're fucking partisan hacks. These are the partisan hacks. You're overlooking the substance of the report. The reason he wouldn't take Joe to court is because Joe behaved differently. The Joe Biden is an old grandpa being with no memories. In addition, it's not the substance of the defense. It absolutely is part of the reason why he chose not to prosecute. What are you talking about? I don't think it's like extra seasoning. He already has to write a fucking report on why he's not going to prosecute. He was brought in as a special prosecutor. Why isn't this the regular DOJ counsel prosecuting their own president? Because there's a conflict of interest. So in order to destroy conflict of interest, okay, they hire a special prosecutor. They bring a special prosecutor to do this outside. That's why he had to write a report. And if his assessment is that this is not a good enough case to prosecute, he has to fucking tell you exactly why. And that makes sense. It makes sense that he explained it under no uncertain terms.
the documents that he took. It was not, they weren't taken on purpose. I think Trump's were. That will remain to be seen if the evidence shows that. But clearly there were efforts to hide them afterwards. That wasn't
TYT nepotism baby crying about liberals Jover. The legal term is president, not norm. Wait, what?
the case with Biden. That's why a jury wouldn't convict him. It has nothing to do with how old he is or whether or not he has gaffes. So I think most Democrats are angry that this special counsel did what he did, which was clearly political.
Yeah, Walter Isaacson, your reaction to what you saw last night?
Well, I do think that the senator is correct, but what happened in that report is it played into a narrative that a lot of people worry about, which is that President Biden isn't as sharp, and it's hurting his candidacy, and you see more than 60% of the people saying he's too old. So that narrative, like all narratives, is overblown. It's filled with some things that people have crammed into it. But like all narratives,
that's crazy that they're fucking desperately trying to be like, they're wish casting Biden's very visible age. It's not one of those things that you can wish cast, man. You can't. Guys, this is perhaps one of the only things that you simply can't talk away because it is visible. Okay? That's crazy. It's so weird. They're trying to do the don't believe your lying eyes. It's like, dog, fucking 80% of voters believe it. That doesn't happen because everyone is lying about it, okay? It happens because he's 81 years old. You cannot gaslight away this. You can't girl boss this. You can't gaslight this. And the worst is time won't fix it either. Time is the one thing that makes this worse. 81 is the new 80.
it has an odious smell of truth to it. So what I think Biden has to do is go out and confront the narrative.
Yeah, he's right about this. Walter Isaacson is not wrong about this. He has to go out and confront the narrative. The problem is, I don't know if he's got that dog in him because that dog is old. That's an old-ass dog, baby. That dog ain't barking no more. That dog has bit the last Secret Service agent that it could, okay? And now he's biting Secret Service agents in heaven because all dogs go to heaven, even cops.
If I were him, I'd call the CBS people and say, okay, I'm going to do that Super Bowl interview, and I'm going to do it live. And I'm going to go to the border, and I'm going to talk to people, and I'm going to do town hall meetings, and I'm just going to show how engaged I am. A lot of the criticisms are unfair, but if he's going to debunk this narrative, he's going to have to confront it.
Yeah, he's right. I just don't know if he has that.
Yeah, and certainly part of the White House pushback is these are people who speak in public. These things happen. In fact,
bruh, it's kind of funny to see old people commenting on other old people. That's actually interesting that you're saying that because it is a part of this narrative that I think Biden probably does really well with older voters, like better than the Democratic Party normally does because they see themselves in him. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that so yeah, Walter Isaacson being like, he's not that old. Come on. If you're saying he's old, I'm old too. Like that kind of shit plays well because what is the average age of the MSNBC Morning Joe watcher? Well, we know Joe Biden watches, but it's like fucking 63. Okay. So yeah, those guys are like, yeah, he's not old. 68 is CNN, I think, right? Isn't 68 CNN?
just the other day, new Speaker Mike Johnson, who's decades younger than President Biden, well, he made a similar blunder. Take a look.
Well, let's make a couple of things.
Dude, it doesn't matter. This is so dumb. They keep, dude, every time, they're going to do this every time. And this is a way to like try and give arguments to the 700-year-olds that watch cable news still. Okay. As though they're going to go out in the marketplace of ideas and duke it out. But like, it's so dumb. Mike Johnson and Joe Biden do not demonstrate the same mental competence in a long enough timeline, I'm losing my fucking mind. Bro, it's like having someone have an Achilles tear on the field and then being like, no, dude, you don't understand, okay? Other players also limp sometimes, okay? He's back. He's going to be back. Aaron Rodgers will be back, okay? I keep going back to the Jets for some reason. I don't know why I got the Jets on my mind, okay? Hasanabi's a Mike Johnson defender? No, Mike Johnson is a freak, okay? Mike Johnson is a fucking freak. Ultra Christian, ultra nationalist, psychopath. But Mike Johnson, oh, he had a fucking gaffe here. Well, your commentary is hurting Biden's chance of getting reelected. Yes, brother. As a 39-month subscriber, you know, through the 39 months of you avoiding the top of the hour ad break, you probably also noticed I got personally Bernie Sanders elected, right? Like Bernie Sanders ran the Democratic Socialist regime of the United States, United Socialist States of America. So like I do have that kind of power. I do have that genuine awesome power of like, I'm the kingmaker, as they call it. And as the kingmaker, I'm yeah, get the fuck out of here, Kokoro boy. Yeah, I'm the kingmaker and I'm the ad taker, okay? You're going to see the ads at the top of the hour. If you don't want to see them, well, then you're going to have to subscribe for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account where you get one free Prime subscription a month. Use it on your favorite broadcaster. Hopefully that's me. Here's the 3-minute ad break now.
It's clear here, Kristen. You know, we passed the support for Iran.
That was a perfect parry, by the way.
Many months ago, 3 months ago. Immediately after I became speaker, we sent the necessary resources there.
The speaker there confused.
Like, what's the goal here? Do you think anyone is going to be like, no, seriously, do you think anyone's going to be like, yeah, actually, Mike Johnson, who is 52 years old, okay, is like demonstrating the same level of mental competence as Joe Biden? Really? Like, people are going to look at this guy who's 52 fucking years old and go, yeah, even a 52-year-old flubs sometimes, just like an 82-year-old? Is that what you think? Is that what you think people are going to say when they watch this? You have to be insane. Bro, this is literally... oh, this is such a funny tweet. This feels, okay? It feels like if Joe Biden was like having a brain leak moment, okay? If his like brain started leaking out of his ear or some shit, or if he started like foaming out of the mouth and in a press briefing, they'd be like, oh, dude, well, who doesn't have that? Everyone foams out of the mouth sometimes. Look at me. I'm foaming out of the mouth. Oh, I'm foaming out of the mouth right now. Are you going to say, oh, I'm not mentally competent to run for president? It's like, dude, what are you doing? What the fuck? You sound insane. That's crazy.
Using countries' names, it happens. I mean, I can never remember Mike Barnacle's name. Claire, this is, though, as noted, and we can certainly a lot of...
Biden was first elected the year Johnson was born. Oh, my God. Wait, hold on. Mike Johnson, January 30th, 1972. Joe Biden elected Senator, Delaware year. No shot. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. 1 year after. 1973. 1973. That's close. That's close as hell, dude. That is close as hell. Oh, I guess, like, yeah, that's true. 2 lines down, elected the Senate in 1972. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. He was sworn. He was sworn in 1973. See? I had a moment. I had a brain fart. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I'm just like Joe Brandon for real. Yeah. There you go. See? I'm 32. I gaff sometimes. I guess it's the same. I'm demonstrating the same level of mental competence as the president. Ha. Come on, man. Be for really being extremely uncharitable to Joe Biden. I already ran the top of the hour ad break, so please stop trying to fucking bait me with this. Okay? It's not working.
Pushback from the White House and Democrats last night, as you say, believing the special counsel went out of bounds. But this is a narrative that has been out there, and it predates this report. That their polling backs it up. There was a devastating NBC poll just a few days ago saying that the vast majority of Americans don't believe that President Biden is up.
We're serious. Brandon doesn't deserve this.
To the job anymore. They think he is too old and not mentally fit. So what would your recommendations be? How do they change this narrative? We know Trump makes blunders too, but at least to this point, and maybe it's changing, the blunders don't stick to him as much.
It's not fair to compare random other people anyway when they assess their mental acuity. Dude. It doesn't matter. Okay? It's not even like comparing Brandon to Bernie Sanders or Brandon to Trump. None of that matters. It's not even about comparing Brandon to Brandon from 6 years ago, 7 years ago, 8 years ago. It's just look at him. That's it. Because that's all it takes for voters. I personally believe this as well. I'm not just simply saying it. Like, I do think that his mental acuity is gone, okay? But voters don't even think about it from that perspective. They just look at him and they see him talk and they go, oh my God, he reminds me of my fucking grandparents.
What do you think the President Biden's team can do?
Well, confusing Nancy Pelosi with Nikki Haley is pretty darn bad. They couldn't have two people further apart in terms of who they are and what they represent. So I listen, I think this is going to be a binary choice. I think the country knows, and I hope, I'm more worried about the third party candidates, frankly, than I am anything else. But as long as it's a binary choice.
Bro, they roll out this fucking potato every time on MSNBC, specifically to just throw it back to how this is the left's fault, okay? What do you fucking mean? Like, AOC fucking immediately endorsed Bernie, and AOC both endorsed Joe Brandon, okay? There is no contingency that is like inside of the party or like genuinely a big enough constituency that's like trying to tank Joe Biden's chances. This is why I hate this conversation. It literally turns into, well, it seems like you're not sufficiently pro-Brandon enough. Okay? It seems to me like, Sweaty, you are not sufficiently pro-Brandon. Why are we even having this conversation? Cenk is obviously going to get the nomination. Exactly. Like, it's like people that fucking take what I say seriously when I'm like, don't care, still voting for Cenk.
Between what Donald Trump represents to this country and to women and to freedom and to our democracy versus Joe Biden, I'm comfortable with that. I agree with Walter that he's got to get out there, and the staff has to be less worried about his gaffes and more worried about him showing his enthusiasm, his passion, his emotions. And I thought last night, on balance,
yeah, this was a good moment. This was a good moment for sure. And I think he should be doing more of this, okay? Wait, why is there no audio in this?
It's president.
Oh, here it is.
How bad is your memory, and can you continue as president?
My memory is so bad I let you speak.
This is good. This is fucking, I love Midas Touch. You guys know I ride for that old school Democratic Party loyalist ass bullshit. This is my favorite type of liberal, okay? Liberal with some teeth in it. I love Midas Touch. I love the Occupy Democrats who still talk about Colin Kaepernick for some fucking weird reason. Like, those guys are my guys, okay? Those are my roll dogs, okay? There's always a place in my heart for people like that. Liberals with teeth, okay? It's just they're funny, they're cool, they just are unhinged. I knew you were a Midas Mighty. Oh yeah, no, I've talked about them quite a bit. The the people I can't stand are like the K-hivers because they're just like mentally ill and dox people regularly. Their K-hivers are like the Barbs, but for fucking Kamala Harris. At least Nicki Minaj had like a decent 10-year career, okay? The fuck has Kamala Harris done? Kamala Harris has no good albums, okay? Anyway, can we get a run back of the K-hive punching rocks? Yeah. Yeah, name one fucking Kamala Harris hit. You can't. She got none, okay? But Midas Touch, on the other hand, I love those guys because they're fun. They're insane as well, but like in a good way. What do you mean this is a banger?
I'm glad.
Kamala Harris' example of Joe Biden's mental fitness is his handling of the Gaza genocide.
Listen, I have been privileged and proud to serve as Vice President of the United States with Joe Biden as President of the United States. And what I saw of that report last night, I believe is, as a former prosecutor, the comments that were made by that prosecutor, gratuitous, inaccurate, and inappropriate. October 7th,
bro, this is literally Lois Griffin 9/11. Yo, she just did it with the same cadence. Come on, dude. Oh my God. No way, dude. That's okay. Come on. Tell me.
Try giving short, simple answers.
Mrs. Griffin, what do you plan to do about crime in our city?
A lot. Because that's what Jesus.
Okay. Here.
9/11 was bad.
I agree with that. What are your plans for cleaning up our environment?
9/11.
Bro, look at this. Look at the way she hit
and
this.
inappropriate. October 7th.
And she pauses afterwards too. What the fuck? Guys, remember, October 7th, which in many ways is a lot like 9/11 times 100.
Accurate and inappropriate. October 7th, Israel experienced a horrific attack, and I will tell you, we got the calls, the president and myself, in the hours after that occurred. It was an intense moment for the commander-in-chief of the United States of America, and
Yeah, you know who the real victims were on October 7th? Joe Biden, okay? Good line. I like that. We should pack that up and run with it. This will surely make people think that Joe Biden isn't fucking asleep on the wheel, okay? Yeah, no. Guys, no, it wasn't the civilians, okay? It wasn't the civilians. It wasn't anybody. It was just Joe Biden. Joe Biden is the real victim of October 7th.
I was in almost every meeting with the president in the hours and days that followed. Countless hours with the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of State, the heads of our intelligence community, and the president was in front of and on top of it all, asking questions and requiring that America's military and intelligence community and diplomatic community would figure out and know how many people.
Okay, but like October 7th wasn't happening in like, I don't know, in all of the other instances. Like people didn't just hear about the special report and go, oh my God, I can't believe how old Joe Biden is. Okay. Like 75% of the Democratic Party's own voters said Joe Biden is too old and needs to be replaced months ago, months before October 7th, as a matter of fact. So like he was already the gaffe machine turned up by 9/11, okay, for years. at this point. While he was running last time. It is what we knew of Joe Biden. It is why there was talks about him being a one-term candidate. And then what did he do? Instead of propping up Kamala Harris, that's why I'm actually squashing my beef with the K-Hivers, because you might think that Kamala Harris is a black hole of charisma. You might think that she is barred out all the time in public, and that's why she slurs her words. I, on the other hand, also believe all those things, but I think it's her time. Okay? I think it is her time. And what the Brandon regime did to this loyalist, okay, makes the Trotsky ice pick situation look good in comparison. Okay? They sent her out on the worst duties possible. They sent her out personally to do cleanup on aisle 5. Okay? Why did they do that? If Brandon was going to be a one-term president, why did they take my barred out queen out to the fucking Philippine Islands to look at coconuts? Why? Why did they make her go out and look at the wheels on the bus and how they go round and round? They should have propped her up. Okay? They should have, but they didn't, because they don't want a woman to thrive.
People were dead. How many are Americans? How many hostages? Is the situation stable? He was in front of it all, coordinating and directing leaders who are in charge of America's national security, not to mention our allies around the globe. For days, and up until now, months. So the way that the president's demeanor in that report was characterized could not be more wrong on the facts and clearly politically motivated, gratuitous. And so I will say that when it comes to the role and responsibility of a prosecutor in a situation like that, we should expect that there would be a higher level of integrity than what we saw. Thank you. Thank you for the question.
Is she drunk? I think she zooted off the K-pin. I don't know what she does. I don't know. I just assume it's like a classic suburban white lady drug that I suspect she's like eating. Whatever, you know, mothers in the suburbs do to make the banality of existence seemingly a little bit more easy to deal with. Yeah. This black hole of charisma thing is your worst take yet? Stan Twitter loves Kamala. Brody, you're out of your dang mind, okay? I don't know what the fuck you're following, who you're fucking following. It's got to be a meme, right? Anyway, so one thing I do want to talk about, however, now that we're done trying to defend the Biden situation, and before we get to the Fox situation, is here's what he finally said. He had some strong words for Israel for the first time ever. Let's take a look at how Karine Jean-Pierre is dealing with the strong words that Biden had. By the way, strong words, but even stronger actions in defense of Israel, as always. But maybe it's actually a change of pace for the Biden White House. Who knows? We'll see. Maybe they're finally fucking waking up to the reality that this is not actually good. The unconditional defense of Israel is making him look kind of bad. You know? The whole, like, unconditionally, I will support genocide, maybe not the best approach, you know, to politics on an election season, especially when the Netanyahu administration is doing literally everything physically that they can to make Biden look like a fucking dumbass, including flubbing the last ceasefire negotiations deal, that Benjamin Netanyahu cast aside right around Anthony Blinken most likely going to Israel specifically to force Benjamin Netanyahu to take the deal. Okay?
Okay, Homer.
Excuse me. Two questions just following up on comments that the president made last night. President Biden called the military operations in Gaza over the top. And this comes after the White House has pretty consistently defended Israel's conduct. What's changed, and what exactly did the president mean by over the top?
Yeah, so first of all, I would say nothing has changed. His position hasn't changed. I don't think his messaging has changed.
What?
We don't think his messaging has changed. He doesn't believe his messaging has changed. This isn't something...
What? How? What do you mean? It definitely has. It certainly has. What do you mean? Whoa, hold on. Brandon has not had, like, a single moment where he's literally been like, no, Israel's gone too far. I don't think he has. Has he? Maybe I don't remember. I'm not trusting Jean-Pierre here. I'm asking you guys. Maybe you guys remember. But it's always like Israel has a right to defend itself and babies are being beheaded type shit. That's the type of shit he's on, you know? This is the first time I've heard him go, yeah, Israel's over the top.
The first time he's done so, what you heard from him yesterday. Look, the president made it very clear in his comment that he was obviously talking about Israel's conduct in Gaza. And he's been clear. He's been clear that the United States wants to see Hamas, a terrorist organization, defeated. He's been very clear on that. That is a shared goal that we have, obviously, with Israel. But at the same time, while we have said that, we have been also very clear, the president has been very clear, that they must do so by ensuring that their operations are targeted and conducted in a way that we are protecting innocent civilians. And that is something that we have been incredibly consistent about here in this administration. We want to make sure that we are also protecting innocent civilians. So
this is pretty funny. So I'm also... Dumb question. Are there Muslims that defend Israel just like there are Jewish people who sympathize with Palestine? Yes. They're called the family members of every sheikh in the Gulf nations. Saudi Arabia.
that is what the president was speaking to yesterday. He was asked obviously a direct question, and he answered that.
It's cool, though. Let's see what the Fox and friends are doing about this beginning of the end of Biden's 2024 bid.
When Joe Biden's drinking a milkshake, is that connecting with you?
No, sir, it's not. Not even a little bit. We have Social Security problems. We have all kinds of other issues. We're not taking care of our own people. There's people on the street here that need help. Nobody's working for these people, but we're worried about what goes on somewhere else.
What's happening with the Snickers bars?
I like it.
Why?
Because when people eat together, they get to know each other.
Thanks, everybody. By the way, this stuff is good. You should have taken me up on it.
We've got homeless problems where I live in Portland, Oregon. I've got open borders, a lot of things about the economy that could be better. We didn't vote for a president because...
I love that they were like, let's find the most New York guy ever, and the dude had a Missouri accent. Like, I don't like it. I don't care. I don't give a damn about milkshakes unless I'm tending my cows. Okay?
Because of his milkshake policies.
I got what we call home black and white. No ice cream, chocolate syrup.
There's two different campaign strategies here in the state, apparently. Donald Trump, big rallies, Joe Biden, drinking milkshakes at cafes. If you were voting in the States, which one would resonate more with you?
Trump. 100%.
Why?
Because he's more for the people, he's more for us, rather than putting money in his own pocket.
That's so funny. Hello? That's right. I voted for Brexit. What? You fucking got a problem with that? I think Trump is a good one. I want to give my fanny to him. Remember when he said, grab him by the pussy? I thought, it's making my fanny flutter. I like it. After all, I want to fuck Boris Johnson.
I'm so excited to say that. Let's bring in Fox News contributor Joe Concha. Joe, what are you hearing in those answers I got?
You're hearing
about a president, Todd, that isn't connecting with the American people anymore. He's not seen as a man who represents them. And it's really the Democratic Party at this point that's become the party of elites instead of the party of the working man and woman. And by the way, guys, you have Joe Biden, who is running for re-election, mind you, who has not held a sit-down interview with any television outlet. You have to go all the way back to October. And that was a cream puff interview with Scott Pelley of 60 Minutes. And then you saw what happened this week, right? We have a sitting president of the United States who says he had a conversation with the president of France, who has nearly been dead for 30 years. He then said he had a conversation with the German chancellor, also dead for several years. And then yesterday, in a patently disastrous press conference, confused the president of Mexico with the president of Egypt. The special counsel also revealed he couldn't remember when he was vice president, nor when his own son died. This is the beginning of the end of Joe Biden's re-election campaign. Democrats that I've spoken to are in a full-blown panic. The problem is, the alternative is either Kamala Harris, who is somehow polling lower than Joe Biden is, and someone like Gavin Newsom, who has a horrific record to defend in California. So that's where we're at this point, guys. Yesterday was the biggest moment of this primary season so far, no doubt, because of Robert Hur's report and the damning things that he said about Joe Biden's mental state.
Yeah, well, everybody's making predictions on the show this morning, Joe. And the beginning of the end is your prediction about President Biden's future. The media.
Judging by how insane Republicans got when their big, beautiful boy lost to a carcass last time around, if the Roe v. Wade stuff actually pushes the carcass over the finish line one more time, I predict we're going to see a real serious collapse in the order as a direct consequence of the reality that the rest of the suburbanites who did not engage in like January 6th style behavior and were grossed out by the rest of the party, I think they will literally lose their minds. Because like part of the reason why J6 happened is because a lot of people lost their minds. It's like, how dare you fucking tell me that like my big beautiful boy who I love, who is, you know, out to defend me, you're telling me that guy lost to a fucking carcass? This time that carcass is like rotting, okay? That fear you just described is what every dipshit brain dead redneck wants you to have. I mean, it's not a fear. I think it's going to be content. I don't give a fuck. Bitch, you know why I don't give a fuck about that? Because the goddamn federal government still exists, okay? You think a bunch of diabetic, heart diseased, Heil Titler ass gravy seals are going to be able to fucking take over the American government because they're mad? No. Okay, it's not happening. First of all, they got their shit pushed in on January 6th anyway and actually realized, oh, fuck, maybe there is accountability, okay? Yeah, no, they're just going to get mad and horny and do some dumb shit, and then the FBI is going to fucking come storming down.
Yeah, obviously reacting to this report. Here's a portion of what some of the members of the media had to say yesterday. Watch this.
If you want to get into the age thing, because this is, let's call it what it is. This is ageism snuck into a report clearing the person of any wrongdoing.
The man is 80 years old. He rides a bike.
But he is the age.
Yeah, I think some people, you know, covering Biden, you realize he does have a temper. His whole staff is.
My goat, Chris Hayes, being like, come on, guys. He's 80. To which Rachel Maddow says he rides a bike. Yeah, dude. Hey, you know who else rode a bike? Mao.
Allies.
Mexico? Where did that come from? I mean, that's the only thing anyone's going to remember from this.
Well-meaning elderly gentleman. Is anyone going to make the point that Donald Trump and his misstatements or his actions are well-meaning?
A mixed reaction, Joe, but also a lot of it was running cover for him, calling the report ageist.
Well, it's not, because it was based on the interviews that Joe Biden did with the special counsel, and we talked about all the things that he couldn't remember in that. I'm shocked that I just saw Jeffrey Toobin back on the air at CNN. I mean, I thought he got the, shaft, a while ago.
Yeah. Continue.
And there he is. So, the fact that they're defending Joe Biden's mental state when 76% of the American people by
Okay.
NBC News.
That's gooning Tubin, okay? He's the original gooner. He was a meta-defining guy. He was ahead of the curve. He's kind of like the Google Glass of masturbating, okay? He's the Google Glass of gooning. And how dare you disrespect him like that? You do not have what it takes. You do not have the balls to masturbate on Zoom, okay? He did. Man said, what's a goon to a goblin? He is the goon and the goblin. He's the goblin of goon.
This is poll's own standard. Don't think he has the mental fitness to be president now, let alone 5 years from now when he.
Hasanabi, not trying to give Republicans, conservatives the benefit of the doubt, but they did warn us about Joe Biden being a vegetable for president for 2020. Just my thought. Wait, first of all, I also said that. You don't have to go to the Republicans to point to that. There were plenty of Democrats who said it. You know who else said it, actually? You guys remember a man by the name of Joaquin Castro? He was running, and he did the big no-no. He was running, and he very openly said it in the primaries, and they fucking pack-watched him so goddamn hard. He's literally, or was it Julian Castro, not Joaquin? Joaquin is the other one. Yeah. Julian Castro is the one who did it. Sorry. See? He got fucking erased so goddamn hard from history that I forgot it was his brother. I only remember his brother's name now. Okay? Do you understand how bad that is? They pulled a fucking Genghis Khan on him. They literally rerouted the river over the fucking map so that it would be erased from the halls of history. Okay? They wiped him out. Bob Levy, thank you for the 50 gifted subs. They deleted my man. Yeah, they did a Man in Black mind wipe. So you forgot any formative memory you had about Julian Castro.
He would still be president if he won re-election, guys.
Yeah. Super Bowl weekend. I don't want to answer anything from HR, Joe, so keep it clean in our last 15 seconds. Quickly, who's your prediction? Super Bowl.
We got the San Francisco 49ers 27 and the Kansas City Chiefs 24. I'm rooting for Brock because Carly is rooting for Brock, and she's biased in that sense.
Boxing friends right now.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart.
Brian, kill me, please. All right, we saw Kamala talking shit. Talking that big shit. Let's see what Fox had to say about it, though.
Appointed by the Attorney General.
Integrity? We should than what we saw.
So he is a special prosecutor appointed by the Attorney General. The report was presented to the Attorney General, who reviewed it and then passed it on to the White House. So she just rolled all of that up in a big ball and threw the entire DOJ under the bus.
I wonder if the White House press secretary is now going to, again, talk about the independence of the DOJ and how they stay out of everything after that comment. That gets hard to do when your bosses are making comments like that. And, you know, John, we've talked about this before. It reminded me somewhat of when the president talks about how his son is innocent over and over again. And, you know, you have to remember, Attorney General is his direct report. And so there's no way that one can't construe these comments as directed, obviously, towards DOJ and even a warning or a message. But separately, I will say her point about gratuitous information.
What warning or a message could this be, though? They're like, hey, better not prosecute him again. Like, it's over. The message. Yeah, they're really threatening the DOJ here by saying it's one-sided. It's like, okay, well, the guy literally said there's no reason to prosecute. We can't do it. You better not do it. You better not prosecute our old senile guy.
In the report. I tend to agree with that. And this is why people don't like special counsels. You know, we saw this with the Mueller report with Trump. Hundreds of pages of extraneous information. For what? For no charges. We're seeing this with her on Biden. And we also saw this, though it wasn't a special counsel investigation, we saw this with Comey on Clinton. And, you know, look, this is why these reports, I think, honestly, are problematic for the Department of Justice. DOJ operates in a pretty black and white world. You're guilty or you're not guilty. There's not really supposed to be anything in between. But these reports allow the Department of Justice to effectively, you know, trash people, ruin their administrations, you know, and their reputations, and then just say, oh, but no charges. And I'm not sure that's fair, no matter whether you're a Democrat or a Republican.
On the subject of fairness,
is it
this
guaranteed
is what
that Joe
said
Biden wins
initially
re-election?
yesterday afternoon when he was asked about the report.
I'm not so sure.
He was focusing in on what he thought was the differentiation contained in this report between.
I'm not so certain. I don't know why you're saying it's a guarantee that Joe Biden is going to win re-election. I mean, I am not as big of a doomer as everyone else is. A lot of people hit the "it's super Jover" button a long ass time ago. People have been hitting the "it's Jover" button for a while now, but I'm not so certain, you know. But I am not. But I'm also not as confident as you are that you think he will definitely guaranteed win re-election. I don't think it's guaranteed at all. I think it's probably chances are that he loses, but having said that, I'm interested to hear why people think that.
What he did regarding classified documents and what Donald Trump did. Listen to what he said.
I was especially pleased to see special counsel make clear the stark distinction and difference between this case and Mr. Trump's case. Continuing to quote, most notably, after given multiple chances to return classified documents to avoid prosecution, Mr. Trump allegedly did the opposite.
Damn, this guy's good.